Welcome back into the channel, y'all, man. We're going to talk about the Saints coaching search. I think they've narrowed it down to three guys. This wasn't reported, but I can just kind of tell that it's a three-man race at this moment. The three-man race is the race that I wanted for the final three. But before we get to that, I'll touch on two more that I did, wanted to interview or interviewed, but I don't think they're going to get the job. Obviously, we can start with Byron Leftwich. They actually was granted permission to interview him, and he turned it down, which is weird. Usually guys don't turn down head coaching interviews when they're offensive coordinator at that. I believe he thought he was going to get that Jacksonville job. They end up hiring Doug Peterson. So that may change things. Maybe he wants to come in for the interview now. But, I mean, if you tell a team you don't want to interview, I don't think they're going to come back and be like, oh, you come interview now if you just turned us down, especially being the Bucs coach. So I think that's just out the window. I think that's done. I think he kind of screwed himself right there. You can't just turn down interviews, man, unless you just really don't want to coach for that team. So, hey, he turned down the Saints interview. It never happened. So we'll see. We'll go from there. Next up, who I don't think is going to get the job, Aaron Glenn, obviously former player for the Saints, I think in 2008. DB's coach for about 5 years for us. He followed Dan Campbell to the Lions. Players respect him, respected in the organization. All of those things and criteria he fits. However, don't think he's the man for the job. It makes no sense to bring in a defensive guy that was under Dennis Allen to now be over Dennis Allen. That just wouldn't make sense. I think the Saints are just interviewing him because the Saints are a good organization. I think getting him that interview also puts his name out there for other teams to now see that Aaron Glenn is starting to get interviews. I think the Saints are just doing him a solid on that front, man, so he gets some exposure out there. All right, and for the three guys I think we're really, zoning into, going after, I'll start with the most obvious, Dennis Allen. Defense has been amazing under him. Top 5 defense the last 3 years. Offense hasn't really followed us, but if the offense follows defense, we'll have a couple of Super Bowls, man, because the defense has been lights out. We got some great young players mixed in with some old veterans. We're just great at every level. D-line, linebackers, secondary, all great under Dennis Allen, man. He had us playing absolutely fantastic. He's a former head coach for the Raiders. Didn't work out, but it was the Raiders. They sucked. Can't put all the blame on him. I think it's time for him to get a second chance. If not with the Saints, it's probably going to be with someone else. But maybe it's not with someone else because all these head coaching jobs are filling up soon. So honestly, if he doesn't get this Saints job, maybe he'll stay as a D coordinator if someone else gets this job. We'll see about that. But I do think he's very high in the consideration. Top 3 with the other 2 guys I'll name. So we'll see what happens, man. Like I said, if we get a defensive guy, I'll just rather keep Dennis Allen. I've been saying that for since the Sean Payton news broke. But obviously, not my choice. We'll see what Mickey Loomis and Gerald Benson decides to do on that front. All right, next up we got Brian Flores. Obviously, it's been going crazy, the news around him. He's suing the NFL, all type of things because basically they've been just taking him on interviews that doesn't matter. Already have their guy, before he even goes to the interview with the Giants and things like that. So that's a whole different situation, but that's going on right now. The Saints still wanted to interview him. I'm not sure if that happened already, but he's a lot going on right now. Obviously, Deshaun Watson wants to play for him. That's why the Texans are in the running and things like that. So, hey, man, his biggest appeal to me is that he can bring Deshaun Watson in. And obviously, if you can get Deshaun Watson at quarterback, you get Deshaun Watson at quarterback. Especially with Winston coming off of ACL, Hill, Ian Book, Trevor Siemian, You get Deshaun Watson if you can get Deshaun Watson. If Brian Flores can come in and deliver you Deshaun Watson, you do it. You do it 10 times out of 10. That's the only guy on the defensive side I would take over Dennis Allen. Obviously, Dolphins were a great defense as well. So you're really not losing too much if you replace him with Dennis Allen. And if Dennis Allen stays on staff, you got those 2 defensive minds in the same room. Defense might go up to a whole different level than what they already are. And last but not least, a candidate that I thought I have a job already, but for some reason every year he skipped over. Eric Bieniemy from the Chiefs. Obviously the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. That high-powered offense for the last 3 years with Mahomes, Tyreek, Kelsey, all of those guys. Andy Reid came out, said he calls the plays. He trusts Eric Bieniemy to call the plays. So that offense has been great for a couple years now, man. I think it's time for him to get a job. If I said if the Saints were to hire a guy, I want it to be an offensive guy. Only two defensive guys I would want would be Flores and Dennis Allen to stay. If you're gonna get one offensive guy, I want it to be Bieniemy. That's just it. Offensive guy, and then hopefully we can keep Dennis Allen on staff. If we get Bieniemy and Dennis Allen, I'm confident. Obviously, he comes from under Andy Reid, one of the best football minds to ever coach this game. Probably a top 5 football, offensive football mind, coach this game. So obviously, he comes from a solid background, solid coaching tree. And I think it's time for him to get a shot. And if he gets a shot with the Saints, it'll be great for us, be great for the organization. Then he'll have his first job would be to try to keep Dennis Allen. I'm not really sold on picking anyone right now. Any one of these choices, I'm happy with. I'll love it. Bieniemy, Flores, keeping Dennis Allen. Like I said, they all come with their pros and cons. Mostly pros for most of them. So we'll see. Only thing with Bieniemy, it'll be his first time head coaching, but I think that's kind of overrated, man. We've seen first and second year head coaches kind of run this league for a while now, to be honest, especially offensive guys. So we'll see, man. He's got a lot of experience under his belt. All of these coaches have a lot of experience under their belt. I think they all can be top 15 coaches if they all were head coaches in this league. And we'll see, man. The Saints have great options. Most of these head coaching jobs have filled up. Most of these teams have hired terrible head coaches. No disrespect, but these teams are just flopping. I'm sorry. They're just flopping. They're leaving all the good head coaches for the Saints. So we can't fuck it up. We got a great group of guys left. Everyone else is hiring. To me, old coaches, guys that's been around, guys that's failed already. They're just rehiring them. Hey, y'all do that. Y'all leave all of the good coaching candidates for the Saints. That way, we'll choose a great one. But that'll be it for this episode, man. Thank y'all for tuning in once again. This is the Boot Tragedies, and I'm out.